Welcome to another episode of Hidden History. In today's video we will discuss the cryptids of the British Isles. This historical land, which has fought many wars, battles and has some of the strangest reports of beings in the world. Although always kept as a legend, a film or some sort of fantasy, these are real and exist somewhere and somehow. You have the OwlMan, mountain giants, the spring-heeled jack, serpents, lake monsters and much more. Some of these accounts are unexplainable and leaves you wondering what is within the British landscape or even underneath Britain itself. One of the most horrific beasts is the questing beast, first documented in the 13th century, which is a noisy mutant reptile mammal with the body of a leopard, the legs of a stag, the thighs and tails of a lion and the head of a snake. It was believed to have existed next to the river Camel, near Bodmin Moor in Cornwall, southwest England. This beast went to the well and drank, and the noise was in the beast's belly like unto the questing of thirsty couple hounds. But all the while the beast drank and there was no noise in the beast's belly. There's the beast of Bodmin Moor, which is a massive phantom wild feline that appears to have brown fur, which inhabits the moors. But close to that area you also have the beast of Dartmoor, described to be a very large furry wild boar. The various phantom cats, which are also called British large cats or the alien big cats, with a number of reported sightings in the countryside of England, these creatures have been described as panthers and pumas. The renowned British politician known as William Cobbett was the first known individual to encounter the alien big cat, as he recalled in his book Rural Rides, how as a boy during the 20th of April 1763 he had seen a phantom cat silently climb into the hollow elm tree in the grounds of the ruined abbey near Farnham in Surrey. So maybe there are a lot more to trees than we think. The occultic importance to trees is all throughout our history, but maybe never fully explained. So here we are again. These are just phantoms, myths, stories and people's imaginations. No, as again, just like the Bigfoots, in the 21st century there are too many stories to ignore. Let us continue. The most interesting cryptid in the UK is known as the OwlMan, known as the Cowarden in Cornish. A bird-like creature with a body of a human, an owl's head and arms with wings. First sighted in 1976 in a village in Moorman, South Cornwall. According to the story, two girls, Sally Chapman and Barbara Perry, both aged 14, were camping when they were confronted by an owl as large as a man with pointed ears, glowing eyes and pincer-like claws. The girls ran away, later drawing and explained what they saw. The sightings of the OwlMan have occurred all over Britain, and knowing people personally that have observed their existence, this is certainly one of the most interesting cryptids out there. It has been compared to the Mothman of West Virginia, USA, but these are very different in the way they interact with humans. So where are these coming from? Surely in this day and age we would be able to record one of these. Are they flickering in and out of this dimension? Well, if these did exist, just like the lions, the rare animals hunted in Latin America, Southeast Asia and Africa, these would be hunted down, destroyed, killed or captured for scientific research. Because if this information became fully mainstream and publicly known, it would turn a lot of science upside down and question the control structure around us too much. Let's move up to Scotland and to the further Outer Hebrides Islands. Scotland most famous for the Loch Ness Monster, which we will come on to later, but there are many more. We have the Amphir Liath Moor, also known as the Big Grey Man. This being is said to inhabit the summit of Ben Macdui, the second highest mountain in Scotland. Supposedly you can hear its disembodied footsteps in the gravel on the mountain, and when the fog thins you'll see a hairy humanoid 3 times taller than a man. This has been cited many times, and there could be reasons in refractions of light to why it is only seen in the fog. Scotland is laced with ancient cryptic beasts which are still seen to this day. There is the Ishka, or the water horse, a carnivorous animal that relishes on meat and flesh. The water horse apparently exists in Loch in Loch district of northern Scotland. Each Ushka was said to be a shapeshifter, similar to what is called the Kelpie, taking on the form of either a magnificent horse or pony, or even a beautiful man or woman. It would usually approach you as a friendly horse, beckoning you to mount it, and when you did, it would then drag you into the loch, drowning its victims. Scotland and Ireland are riddled with water beasts, the Morach, the Muckshillock, and of course the Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as Nessie, is a creature in Scottish folklore that is said to inhabit Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. It is often described as a large, long neck with one or more humps protruding from the water. It was brought to worldwide attention in 1933 by local reports. Evidence of its existence is anecdotal, with a number of disputed photographs and sonar readings. Unbelievably, back in 1979, the newly elected British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher created a hunt for the Loch Ness Monster. The first recorded sighting of the Loch Ness Monster was from the Irish Christian abbot called St Columba Mac Connell in October 565 AD, and there have been sightings ever since. An interesting point to Loch Ness, it is the second deepest loch and contains more water than all the streams and lakes combined in England and Wales. So it would be very easy for something to hide in these dark peat-filled waters. The London-based British genealogist called Robert Kenneth Wilson took a fake photograph of the Loch Ness Monster on the 28th of March 1934. Later, the British cryptozoologist known as Timothy K. Dinsdale photographed the Loch Ness Monster in 1960. The photograph is believed to be authentic but also very corny looking, and was in every unexplained manual. Being a photographer cameraman myself, I can arguably see flaws in this image straight away. Firstly, the scale of the Nessie is very small compared to the wave ripple of the Loch. So this is most certainly fake, but why out of all the hundreds of stories are the mainstream focused on something that is or could be fake? Amazingly, there have also been alleged Bigfoot sightings, large hairy ape-men type creatures in the UK, which we have to be highly sceptical of as England is not covered by wooded forests, but is certainly known to have a lot of underground passageways. Reported in two mainstream UK newspapers called The Sun and the Daily Mail in November 2012, residents of this sedate small village in Tunbridge Wells, Kent, were being terrorised by an 8-foot tall ape-like creature with fiery red eyes. Although no physical evidence of this, there were many reports from different people stating the same type of creature in the area. The Bigfoot was called the Kentish Ape Man, the British Bigfoot. There is the pencil giant, the woodland wild man, the lindworm, which is a dragon worm. The list is endless, which we will cover in later videos. So where are these cryptids coming from? Are they living in the British countryside, behind the bush, ducking every time they see a human? Or even living under the ground? Or even a big mansion somewhere on the hillside? In most cases, when you look into the history of the area to where they are sighted, there has often been a war or some sort of conflict, a traumatic situation, sometimes even ritual sacrifices. It is common to have UFOs and paranormal activity reported as well. It's also usually an area where magnetic ley lines cross over. But these cryptids do exist somewhere. To what, how and why is still to be answered. Have we tuned out from seeing other dimensions? Are we interdimensional beings that have become too dense to move our consciousness into other levels of reality? Maybe technology has erased our connection to the other dimensions. Reality has many dimensional levels and we live on one of them. We sometimes have the ability to see into these other levels, but we flick back because we are conditioned to remain in this one. Has our DNA been disconnected? Has the switch been turned off that allows us to tap into this? It is good to remain skeptical and find evidence, but these cryptids are real and exist somewhere. They are not all people's imaginations or fantasies they want to create. So we must always question and remain open in possibility to answers. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please take a look at the other videos in the Hidden History series, and please like, share and subscribe if you haven't already.